Hi, welcome to the A.D.K Rock and Metal channel. My name's Andy, and I'm pleased to be joined tonight by two members of the Belfast-based death metal band Strangle. We have Peter Clark, vocalist, and John Curlett, the drummer.
Hiya.
Right, how's it going?
How are you?
Good evening, guys. Thank you very much for coming onto the channel. Good to see you. Fan of the band. I don't know if I made that clear when we was chatting, Peter. Well, I've seen you in Cambridge in I think it's 2018. Got you.
Around that.
So yeah, really like your stuff. So thank you very much indeed again for joining me on the channel.
Thanks for the invite.
Just briefly, first of all, what's the sort of the band history? How did it come about, and a little bit of background behind the band name as well.
I'll take care of the band name, John, and you can talk about the formation. What about that?
Yeah, sure.
I was actually on tour with my old band many moons ago, and I think someone came up with the name Strangle something. I can't even remember what it was, and I kind of just liked the sound of it, and then kind of changed it to Strangle, and I just really liked the sound of the name, to be honest with you, and it kind of stuck. But I was going to use it for like a throwaway side project band, to be honest. And then it was only whenever I left that band to start thinking about starting something new. And then the name kind of came back to me. I thought, actually, do you know what? And at the time, I was actually chatting to John about the band as well, and ran it by him as well. And it was just like, yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, is it a sort of real life weapon, or is it sort of like an amalgamation of work?
I thought it was slang for garrote, and I think on occasion when you put into YouTube, all sorts come up, to be honest with you. You do that once when the band wasn't formed. So it's, to be honest with you, it's not something I would kind of really think about now, in terms of the meaning of it. I just always really like the sound of it, and then we got the logo done as well. It just kind of fitted.
Yeah, it's a really cool logo. It just works really well. The two words and the symmetry. I do like your logo a lot.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers for that.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the formation, I mean, we got together about 2016. Started talking about getting the band together. It was Pete kind of got us all together. We all knew Pete, but we didn't know each other. So, Pete contacted me about putting together a death metal band, and I started playing, and then Daff was the bass player, and then we got him involved, and then we were trying to get a guitarist. Took us maybe about a month or so to get a guitarist, so we started practicing about midway through 2016, and then recorded our first EP December 2016.
Wow, quick work.
Yeah, that's Ross's fault. These songs fall out of him, So no, I think he was in the band for about maybe, I don't even know if it was 2 months. It might have been closer to 6 weeks or something like that. And the first 7-inch Narcissism was written, and recorded 5 months later or something like that.
Was you sort of gigging fairly quickly as well after the formation?
Say like it was about 6 months of practice before recording, and then it was about the second or third month of the following year we played our first couple of shows in the UK.
Excellent, thank you very much. All right, anybody sort of looking to get into Strangle or sort of people recommending the band to their friends, how would you want them to describe your sound?
I mean, it probably comes from more of the old school side due to Ross writing the songs. And with Pete, your influences would be like Cannibal Corpse and stuff like that, would they?
Absolutely. All my stuff is grounded more so in the old school side of things. Now, what I call old school probably isn't those old school as I call like Cryptopsy old school, as well as your Obituaries and Cannibal Corpse and so on, But yeah, certainly where I get a lot of my inspiration from. I know that Ross would be the same, Yeah,
I mean, Cannibal Corpse would be the obvious sort of comparison and sort of reference point. But yeah, I think that you've almost got like an individual sound, as a band. So don't feel sort of boxed into that sort of old school death metal feel. There's so much more that I get from your material anyway. Talking of which, what is the sort of songwriting process I mean, it's quite apparent from, you know, the lyrics and the song titles, particularly the you know, the EP, the Dark Triad EP, where there's the songs are sort of grouped into 3 chapters, as it were. So I guess, is it you, Pete, who's got the sort of fascination of the aspects of the human mind?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it, to be honest with you. And the original reason that the Dark Triad was originally broken up into kind of chapters like that is the original plan was to release 3 7-inches: Narcissism, Psychopathy, and Machiavellianism, just under those names. And then the 3 of them would group together to make up the Dark Triad. As we found out, 7-inches don't sell as well as you would think.
Yeah.
So
they might do now, though. If you
not so much
now, they'd be flying, I think.
Not so much in 2017. So it was on the way down the gig in Dublin. I think we were chatting as a band. It was actually like, how about we just put these out in CD because we're getting asked for it. If this stuff's available on CD. So then we just decided to, the other tracks that we had recorded were in the process of recording. It's just like, look, we'll just bring all these together and put it out as a CD called the Dark Triad, which was certainly a better idea looking back now, you know.
Yeah. Does that sort of interest from you come from just sort of personal sort of studying, or was that sort of your professional sort of environment?
Professionally, I'm a therapist, which is, I kind of got into that because of an interest in psychology, you know, and then throughout my studies and things like that, I started learning more and more about it, you know. It's just it's a passion of mine, you know. Years ago in previous bands, I sang about all sorts of things, if you know what I mean. But certainly with Strangle, I wanted something that was, I wanted the lyrics and concepts to be a lot darker and something which maybe people could resonate with more people, you know. So yeah, I just really enjoy writing about that side of things, you know.
I mean, it's a vast area to explore, isn't it? And I assume very, very interesting, and so much to, you know, to absorb, you know, professionally and from personal interest.
Yeah, and it's just fascinating. I just really enjoy it, and it's fun to write the lyrics. It's great to then whenever you come up with these concepts of then trying to get artists to depict them and things like that, and getting the Dark Triad artwork done was particularly interesting. You know, it's just nice getting other people to bring your ideas to life as well, you know.
I'm not going to attempt to say the word, but the 3rd chapter, you mentioned it. Just very briefly, what is that? What does that mean? Is that a sort of an individual that is named after Machiavelli?
Yeah, and see, to be honest with you, out of all of them, Machiavellianism isn't the one I'm most familiar with. You know, I remember reading up on it at the time, kind of going, yeah, there's a lot of things around manipulation and things like that. You know, it certainly wouldn't be my area of expertise. You know,
but it's an area of psychology sort of thing, is it, or a condition that people exhibit? Okay. Yeah, that's a fascinating subject matter. Next question regards sort of, you know, the songs in your repertoire. Which of those that are on the sort of EPs and albums that I've got here, and perhaps even previous ones, were the most difficult, be it in the sort of practice rooms or the rehearsal studios or in the recording studio, to actually nail down and finally be 100% happy with? You know, which was the most challenging for you as a band, or you guys as a band, to sort of complete, be it in the writing or the recording side of things?
I suppose it would be personal for everyone. You know, I mean, if I could think of one, it would be the Human Tensile Experiment off our current album, which is where we feel like we've pushed ourselves musically. I mean, now, even when we're writing our new stuff, we just like to keep challenging ourselves, you know, and the new stuff's going to be even faster, and it's just packing more into each song now. So we're just getting better at that. But I think the Human Tensile Experiment, maybe, I can't recall, every song was quite difficult to do in the studio for me. So I'm not sure, maybe some songs are difficult for other people.
How about yourself, Pete?
Likewise, every time I think to myself that I'm kind of at my limit, and then the rest of these clowns end up writing something even quicker, if you know what I mean. And it is challenging, you know, and there's certainly with the previous stuff, I'd agree with John that the Human Tensile Experiment at the time, it went through it was reworked a few times, and yeah, it was particularly difficult. I find it difficult anyway. You know, there's a lot of extended vocal patterns with very little breaks to get breaths in and stuff like that. You know, and again, the new stuff now, which I have to admit, despite the rest of the guys are probably 6 or 7 songs deep into the new stuff, and I'm sitting with about the second track going, wow, there's a lot in this.
Yeah.
You know, and the stuff keeps getting quicker, you know, which not complaining about, but it does. Every new song brings a fresh set of challenges with it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's heard your stuff knows that there's some absolutely blistering pace on you know, on some sections. So all credit to you guys as musicians to, you know, as you say, meet those challenges and get these things recorded and out there.
Yeah, I can't take credit for that. That's John Dapp and Ross are responsible for the speed, you know.
Absolutely. Well, you've got to match it with the vocal delivery as well at times.
Yeah, or just don't sing it with the fast parts, you know.
I think I'm right in saying, have you done 2 or is it just the 1 US tour?
We've done 2.
You don't, yeah,
two.
Okay.
Right.
So my next question is based around those. First of all, how did they come about? Because it's quite an endeavour, you know, for you to uproot yourself for a few weeks or however long it was, you know, to go over the States and play some shows. So sort of how's that fun? Is that wise investment from, you know, turning over your merch, which you've had some really quality items? I mean, the CDs themselves, fantastic, glossy digipacks. And you've had, you know, the raft of T-shirts and other things. I think there's you know, lighters and whatever. So how did those US tours come about?
There's a friend of ours, Paul McGuire, who runs Dead Haggis Productions. You know, he'd be a good friend of ours. He's been unbelievably supportive from day one with the band. You know, he really has contributed a lot, and he very kindly takes care of that for us.
So what would be sort of your individual best memories from those times? And what bands did you play with as well? Anything that anybody would have heard of in the UK?
Well, I'll go for the obvious ones, but my memory's shocking, so I'm going to hand it over to John. The most recent tour we did with Defeated Sanity, Malignancy and Prophecy. You know, I say Defeated Sanity are on the up and up at the moment, you know. So it was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that tour from start to finish was absolutely amazing, you know. The 2018 tour, the first was 2018, wasn't it, John?
Yeah.
That's what it says on the T-shirt I've got anyway.
That's good. So you know more than me. In
Yeah.
regards to that tour, John's memory's better than mine, so I'll hand you over to him.
Yeah, so the 2018 one was kind of like our own sort of headline tour that we did. We did about 6 or 7 states, I think. It was a short enough tour. It was about 7 dates over like 7 states. So we just we don't even go on for maybe a year at this point. And we're just like, yeah, the US, why not? Let's just go there. You know, why not just aim high? So it started off, we got a booking for Las Vegas Death Fest, and then we kind of just built the tour around that and just like hired an RV and just did the whole American road trip thing. It was amazing. And then, yeah, so the next one with Defeated Sanity was like full, proper, you know, working tour for us, which was fantastic, like 14 cities in 16 days. So that was like the same. It was the Southwest again, you know, but it was great to be just part of a proper tour package.
Yeah.
Just playing proper big venues every single night with like hundreds of people. And for me, you know, the American fans are just the best. You know, they're just the most supportive, and they really do appreciate you, and they just come up and they will buy you a beer, and they even just for us, we weren't expecting any kind of support, you know, as kind of like a opening band or anything. But we do have a pretty good fan base in America now, you know, after those 2 tours.
Fantastic. Any plans to go back in?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we always would love to go back. Yeah.
I mean, you said that first one was based around a particular festival appearance. That's pretty much, I guess, how the run of dates in later 2018, when I saw you at Port and Arms in Cambridge, was that was sort of bookmarked around the Snuff Fest.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did.
With basement torture killings and Pestifer. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, were they from Spain or Portugal, if I remember rightly?
Portugal.
Yeah, a real international lineup there. I mean, that was great. I mean, Portland Arms is a terrific little venue. I go there quite often. It's always absolutely rammed, and I'm sure your night was. I remember it, very well, and it's great. So, did that come about in the same sort of way from the American tour? Your sort of supportive fan, sort of arranging that.
Well, it's still involved with Paul. This time it was Paul Foster Dent of Basement Torture Killings again. I've known Paul from years in when I was in a previous band as well, and he's been very good to us as well. So he put us on, kind of like you said. He runs the Snuff Fest in London once, if not twice a year now, maybe. And he very kindly put us on that, and then the other dates around it put us onto those as well. So no, there's a lot of people are really good to us in the local scene. Well, not the local scene, sorry, the general UK scene in Ireland.
Yeah. Along with the sort of high standard of products you produce, the CDs and the merch and everything, you've got probably, if not more, half a dozen really, really cool music videos as well. I must admit, I haven't looked at them all. I do apologise. I'll get
let you off with it.
What sort of locations were they filmed in? I think one looked like it was from one of your American tours.
Yeah,
John,
your geography's better.
the failure exhibit, that was the one that was filmed in New Mexico, and that was during our first US tour. So that was filmed on the Cook site from Breaking Bad, the
Right.
first Cook site, and the scene where Walt hides his money and Hank gets shot. That was right on the actual spot where that happened. So we're just like, yeah, it'd be so cool to shoot a music video there.
Excellent. What you've got a sort of a good back catalogue of tracks. Which is always one of the first that goes on the set list? Which is sort of one of your sort of go-to tracks? And is that same song a band or a fan favourite, or are there any more that can be added to that list?
That's a good question. It was the games they play. Is still very much a staple, like 95% of the time. It is a crowd pleaser, and people ask for it. I can't speak for the rest of the band. I know sitting jamming in the practice hall gets a wee bit boring for me personally, but playing it live, it's totally different. I still absolutely love the track live. Since it was written, Heavily Medicated, which is also the opening track off the album, it's always there now. It's in the process of maybe replacing the games they play as a way to end the set, but we're not 100% settled on that yet.
Do you think that's, is that because, as you rightly said, the opening tracks on the two releases, was that a sort of a purposeful choice from you as a band to put them as the opening tracks? Do you thought they were strong songs and might be my favourites?
The games they played was the first track that we ever actually wrote as a band, and we all just loved it. I think, and John, you can maybe correct me here, was Heavily Medicated. Was that one of the first ones we wrote for the album? I can't even remember.
Yeah, I think that would have been the next one that actually made it onto the album. There would have been a couple in there that were kind of put to the wayside, but yeah, Heavily Medicated was the next one we wrote for the album.
So I think that with the start of that song, I think for a while it was nearly the Human Tensile Experiment was going to open the album because of the impact, but Heavily Medicated took it, especially when it was recorded. It was like, yeah, that's an opener.
Yeah, I haven't really been involved in recording process in bands, but I'm guessing once you've got it all recorded, the actual sort of track listing and track order is quite an important consideration, because it's got to have a good impact, because especially in the days of streaming and everything, someone's discovering the band, you've got to have a strong opening to your album or EP so that you draw fans in.
Absolutely. I would think Heavily Medicated had that, because whenever it starts, it's just getting thrown at you, and just like you say about the recording, I mean, it's funny because you go in with certain ideas that there's certain songs where you go, that might be a wee bit of a filler actually, and then whenever you record it, it's just like, to me, that's one of the best tracks on it, for me personally, Psychology the Sick off the album, which I've always loved that track, but in the back of my head I thought, that's maybe That might be a wee bit of a filler until we had it recorded, and it's one of my favorites off the release. You know.
Yeah. We're talking to each other sort of early February. I know you've got a festival called Urban Assault later this month with, and on the bill is one of my favourite bands ever, Morning Beloved. I mean, you couldn't get two more contrasting bands on the same bill because they are funerally slow and you are blisteringly fast. So other than that to look forward to, what else is in the diary for Strangle for the rest of 2024?
The next one after Cork is we're going back to Reykjavik Death Fest in April.
Iceland.
We were playing there last, we were playing there in December as part of like a 3-date European tour with Defeated Sanity. It was like Berlin, London, Iceland. So yeah, they invited us back, which is great. And they're really great guys that run that Death Fest as well. So it's going to be a good day. And Cytotoxin from Germany are playing, which are one of my favorite bands as well. So it's going to be great.
Did you say it was December?
April.
Oh, April. Sorry, I do apologize.
Yeah. We were playing Reykjavik last December.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
for the first time.
Misunderstood that. And what about new material? Any plans for studio time?
I think at the moment there's still a lot of life left in the album. So we're hoping to give that ideally another final push over this year and next year. It depends if the stuff that we have in the pipeline comes off this year, in which case there's a chance we might record next year. But as I'm sure you can imagine, best laid plans and all that. If things weren't to go our way this year, then we'd probably have to push the recording back. So we'll just have to wait and see, play that one by ear.
Okay. Right, just leaves me to say to everybody watching, if you like quality brutal death metal, go and check out Strangle. You're on all the socials, I guess. You've got some fantastic EPs available on your Bandcamp and merch as well. Just leaves me to say thank you to Peter and John of Strangle. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and share and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on another video very soon. Thanks very much.
Good. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
That's the end of the video, gents. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. I hope the questions were okay.
That was great.
I'm no expert at this. I'm getting, I'm part of the channel. It's not my strongest area. I much prefer doing what I did last night, recording clips of live shows, putting it all together and putting it on the channel and doing our reactions and everything. But we'll get this put together. Dave will edit it. He'll schedule it on our roster and it'll be out soon. And obviously I'll let you know and I'll share it around as well. But thank you so much for joining me.
Good. No worries.
And that
was really enjoyable.
Thanks very much. Love your stuff. And hopefully if you do come to the mainland sometime soon, perhaps I'll catch you again.
Excellent. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Appreciate that.
Come on, take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Take it easy. Bye.